If you live in San Diego or you're thinking about moving here, you've probably wondered what life is like outside the areas everyone talks about. North Park, downtown, PB. I've lived in 5 totally different parts of the county. Some areas I genuinely miss, and others, not so much. But that's just my experience. And in this video, I want to help you see the bigger picture. What it's like really living in different parts of San Diego versus where I live now, which is up in North County. And why so many people eventually migrate north when it's time to buy a home. Hey, welcome back. It's Jamie Lennon, your local San Diego realtor. I make videos all about living in, moving to, and now even graduating within San Diego County, plus what's going on in the housing market. If you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing anywhere in San Diego County, please know that you can find my contact information down below. And I also have a link in my bio that takes you directly to my calendar where you can schedule a one-on-one call with me. Here's what I've noticed. When people first move here, especially from out of state, they almost always say, we want to live in San Diego. And they mean the city, downtown, the neighborhoods that surround Balboa Park, Pacific Beach, maybe UTC. When I mention places like Carlsbad or San Marcos, they kind of look at me like, huh? But once people are here for a while and they're ready to buy a home or maybe start a family, a lot of them quietly migrate up to North County. So in this video, I'm going to walk through the different parts of the county I've lived in, what they actually feel like, and how life in the city of San Diego compares to life up in North County. We're starting this video off in Rancho Penasquitos, or PQ. Look, we shorten everything around here. Look, most people that move to PQ, they're doing so for the schools. So Rancho Penasquitos is located in the Poway school district, which is ranked 2nd top school district in the county. And it's very conveniently located. So Rancho Penasquitos was built up in the 80s and 90s. So it's going to be a master plan community with various subdivisions. So it's all tract homes. If you don't like tract homes, you're definitely not going to like this area, okay? But what's very attractive is it's right off Highway 15 and Highway 56. So Highway 56 is a straight shot to the coast out in Del Mar. So for people that want convenience, but they want a quieter neighborhood with top schools, somewhere that's really geared towards families, then this is the best place to go. It's very quiet. You're not gonna find places that are open late, but you are close again to the 56. So if you wanted a night out, you're about 15 minutes to Del Mar and to the coast. So it is very convenient in terms of its location and for people that are commuting as well. So I would say Rancho Penasquitos is more for those that wanna buy a home, they need more space, and they need a convenient location. I will say from my experience as a kid growing up in the 90s here, it was actually a really great neighborhood. Now I know a lot has changed, but I remember us all playing out in the streets until nightfall. It felt very safe and there were just a ton of kids everywhere. So if that is your lifestyle, if that's what you're looking for, I recommend checking it out. I had an era in my life where I really wanted to live downtown. I wanted it to be walkable. I wanted it to be lively. So I moved to Little Italy and I lived here for 2 years. And honestly, I loved the years that I spent here. If you're somebody who likes that high-rise type of living where you barely have to drive or maybe not drive at all, this is going to be a great option for those looking in San Diego. But downtown is not kind of a one-fits-all. There's so many different pockets. So I'm gonna specifically talk about Little Italy for the sake of this video. So Little Italy attracts a ton of tourists. There's always gonna be people here, especially on the weekends, going out to eat. There's a lot of events, like right now, there's a vintage market right here. There's street performers that are always going on every Saturday. It's very well known for having their farmers market. It's one of the biggest in the county. I believe it's the biggest, but I ain't gonna say that because I don't know for 100% sure that it is, but it spans like 8 blocks. So I'd say it's safe to say it's a big one, and there's so many cool vendors that come out here, but it does get busy. So if you're going to the farmer's market, I always say get here early, 9, 10 a.m. That's gonna be the sweet spot. But another great thing about Little Italy in the downtown area is you're right on the water. So you have the San Diego Bay that's gonna be right here with the boats, and then you have the Embarcadero, you have Seaport Village. There's so many wonderful things about living in downtown. but I will say there are going to be some cons, and these are, I would say, these are well known among the community, but it's smelling like pee. No matter where you are in downtown, it does have the stench of pee. Now, whether that's from pets or humans, I cannot confirm, but it does smell like pee down here. Another thing is if you're looking to buy real estate, the HOAs down here are extremely expensive. We're talking starting around $750 a month. That's just going towards your HOA dues. That does not do anything to help pay down your mortgage. So if you want a condo lifestyle, you want to live in a high-rise, you want to be in a walkable area, and you don't mind the HOA, then this is going to be a great place to buy a condo, especially if you get a west-facing view or maybe even an east-facing view where you can look out and see Balboa Park. Okay, some really great alternatives. If you don't want to live in the hustle and bustle of actual downtown, I recommend venturing just outside of downtown. So Bankers Hill, Hillcrest are going to be great options. The only caveat with Bankers Hill is you are in the direct flight path. So if you are looking in Bankers Hill, just make sure you're north of 6th Avenue. Then you're not going to be having planes flying directly above you. You're going to be further removed from it. So there's a little pro tip for you. I would say this area definitely attracts young professionals. The average age is going to be young to mid 30s. There's not a lot of kids that live here. It's going to be more of that single, newly married, maybe you and your partner live here type of vibe, because on a Friday night when you guys close down the computers, you can go hit the town for a night out. So it does have that kind of younger vibe, but not as young as PB. So after spending an amazing 2 years in Little Italy, I decided I needed a little bit of peace and quiet, more space. But that was also what was going on in my personal life. So I did a complete 180 and I moved to Poway. Poway's nickname is the city in the country. This does have a small town feel with country edge, but don't get me wrong, it gets busy. And that's because Poway is more, I would say, more of a bedroom community. Not too many people that live in Poway are going to work in Poway. Of course, there's an exception, but I would say majority. So it's where people lay their head, right? Bedroom community where you lay your head at night, but you don't necessarily work there, you just sleep there. That's where your home is. That's kind of the feel that Poway gives me. There's going to be a mixture of homes here. So unlike PQ, where it's mainly those subdivision tract home types, Poway has a wider range of housing. So you do have your subdivisions. It is a little older, so you're gonna find homes that were built in the 50s and the 60s. And then along Espola Road, which is going to back up to the foothills, you definitely get that country feel. So that's where the city and the country really stands out, are going to be the neighborhoods that are right up against the foothills. So this is where you're gonna find horse property or just acreage of property. You also can climb up the mountain, heading over the hill into Ramona. Those are where you're gonna find hilltop estates. And then also near Poway Road, closer to kind of like the city center, you find more of your starter homes, apartments, townhomes, condos, things like that. But another thing that's attractive, again, are the schools. Poway School District, again, so they do have some top schools. I've helped people relocate out to Poway because of certain programs that the high school has, Poway High, that others around the country just didn't have. So it is very attractive for families. Now, I will say one con of living in Poway for me personally was there really wasn't much going on, not too much to do. You had your local bars that would shut down at 2, but if that's not your vibe, what else are you gonna do? There is hiking, so it has the popular Potato Chip Rock, which is up Mount Woodson. You also have Lake Poway. So there is going to be a lot of nature and hiking around in the area. But aside from that, you really have to get out of Poway. And that is where the trouble kind of comes in, because it can take you about 10 minutes just to get to Highway 15. So for people that are commuting in and out, this can be a lot. And like I mentioned earlier, there is traffic. And a lot of it is off Poway Road from people trying to get in and out or to the freeway and back home. So just something to think about. So a lot of people argue that Poway is part of North County. This really depends on who you talk to. I don't feel like Poway's part of North County. I believe that Poway starts at Rancho Bernardo. That's the kind of the line of North County. But again, it depends on who you talk to. But if we're comparing it to North County, I would say Fallbrook is the best comparison to Poway. Next came my boat era. So me and my fiance decided that we wanted to live on our boat, which was in Mission Bay. So I got a really well-rounded perspective of what life was like living in PB, OB, Point Loma, and Mission Beach. Pacific Beach, or PB, is exactly what you think of when people picture young beach city living. It's packed with bars, brunch spots, fitness studios, and people in athleisure wear literally 24/7. It has that workout beach bar rhythm that attracts a younger demographic even though home prices are high. The core of PB is busy. Lots of grid streets, tons of pass-through traffic, and not much of a neighborhood feel. But North PB, closer to Bird Rock or up by Cape Sessions Park, has quieter pockets with nicer homes, a more residential vibe, and even some pretty incredible views. Mission Beach feels like a permanent vacation. It's narrow, it's iconic, and it's full of short-term rentals, so it's definitely tourist heavy. You don't get yards here. Your yard is the sand. You've got Belmont Park, the boardwalk, surf breaks on one side, the bay on the other, and biking is truly the best way to get around here. And there are going to be tons of restaurants here, all within walking distance. But the flip side is parking is a nightmare. Homes are tightly packed, and it's peak season, it gets busy. Ocean Beach is the laid-back, eclectic, old-school SoCal beach town that locals absolutely love. It's quirky, community-driven, full of longtime residents, and home to one of the best dog beaches in the city. It's also more affordable than a lot of other beach neighborhoods. Still beach pricing, but not quite the PB Mission Beach price range. Lastly, we have Point Loma. So a big positive to living in Point Loma is you have tons of shopping nearby. So right now I'm at Liberty Station. I just wrapped up at Breakfast Republic. It is definitely a popular spot here in Point Loma. But you have all the shopping here. It's right off Rosecrans. But speaking of Rosecrans, that is my biggest con and what I didn't like when I lived in this area is the traffic. Rosecrans is pretty much the main road to get in and out, and it's always busy. Doesn't matter what day it is, what time it is, it's always just very congested. The shopping centers are always packed. There's so many people around. And another thing, it's the homelessness. It's very visible here, especially in the Midway District part of Point Loma. So if you don't like downtown because of that reason, you're not going to like living here because of that reason. Another con to Point Loma is it's in the direct flight path. So there's always going to be planes flying up above, which is unfortunate because the homes here are so beautiful. They have so much character. There's Tudor homes, Victorian homes, mid-century modern homes, Spanish Revival homes. You name it, it has it here. And it's also very hilly, so you have opportunity to get a home with a beautiful view of the ocean or the bay because you have Harbor Island and Shelter Island here, which is where all the major marinas are. So for anybody that's in the boating community, they're really attracted to living here. But just know, it gets really busy. There's always a lot of people around, and you got planes flying up above. So when you compare the San Diego beach neighborhoods to North County, they really are completely different. Down here, everything is tighter, smaller lots, more density, more activity, and yes, more homelessness, especially around the busier corridors. North County's coastline is calmer, scenic bluffs, tucked away coves, fewer huge crowds, and a slower pace. But what North County doesn't have is this level of classic SoCal character. These communities are older, full of charm, full of stories, and full of opportunities to buy homes with real history and personality. There's simply no true comparison to North County to the age, the energy, and the quintessential Southern California feel of these neighborhoods. Now, when people are ready to settle down, maybe these are people that moved out here for college and are over the PB scene, or they're sick of paying for parking to go grocery shopping, and especially when they're ready to buy a home and think more long-term. This is when North County gets the spotlight. North County is made up of 9 cities. You have North County Coastal, which includes Oceanside, Carlsbad, Solana Beach, Encinitas, and Del Mar. And then you have North County Inland. This is going to consist of Fallbrook, San Marcos, Escondido, and Vista. In my opinion, North County is a little bit more cleaner, we'll say more well-maintained. It's not as congested. There's traffic, don't get me wrong, but I just mean that things are more spread out here, unlike Metro San Diego, okay? And that has a lot to do with the age of the area. So San Diego has homes and neighborhoods dating back to the 19th century, where North County predominantly was built up in the last 30 to 40 years, especially inland communities. So think La Costa and Carlsbad or San Marcos. So there's gonna be a lot more master plan communities and cookie cutter homes here. Unless you're looking west off of Highway 5, that's where you're gonna find your coastal cottages and craftsman homes. But anywhere else more inland, it's a lot of tract homes here, okay? So that is a big difference when we're looking at style of home, comparing it to San Diego. And another thing to note is majority of neighborhoods, especially in Carlsbad, they're gonna be subdivisions governed by HOAs. One thing that attracts me to North County is you find a lot less homelessness. You're gonna trade that city energy, especially if you're in your 20s and 30s, for a more laid back feel. It also attracts a lot of military given Camp Pendleton, that's in Oceanside. So there's gonna be a lot of events geared towards celebrating the armed forces and a lot of local bars and restaurants that cater to them, especially in Oceanside. We're starting right here in Oceanside, which is going to be the northernmost coastal city within San Diego County. And it's known for being relatively one of the most affordable coastal cities, especially when we're talking about Southern California. West off the 5 freeway, you can still buy a single family home for around $1.3 million, or how about an ocean view condo for around $1 million? You're not gonna find that anywhere else in the county unless you head down to Imperial Beach, which is pretty close to the border. So Oceanside is a great transition for those that are not ready to give up that city life of living in San Diego, where you have nightlife and there's always tons to do. Oceanside is going to be a great place to transition because this place is extremely lively, especially when we're comparing it to 20 years or so, when it didn't really have the best reputation and it wasn't that attractive as it is now. So there's tons of new restaurants and shops and breweries and coffee shops, and there's just so much to do, especially driving along Coast Highway, and then of course Mission, which is going to be considered the downtown portion of Oceanside. It's actually a really nice place. I never thought I would say that as somebody who lived here 20 years ago, but right now Oceanside is such a hot spot. I would say a lot of first-time homebuyers that I'm working with, they're looking at Oceanside because they want to live near the coast and they do have a limited budget. But it's really important to work with somebody who knows Oceanside inside and out, because there are so many different pockets to this city. So you have inland and you have coastal, you have Fire Mountain, which is one of my favorite communities. So if you're somebody who's looking for a home with more character, which is you're gonna find in older homes, and maybe something with more property, you'd probably check out Fire Mountain. It's still very close to the coast. If you want a coastal cottage, of course, you're gonna find those more closer to west of the 5 freeway, so near the coast. And then anything else, more of your master plan, tract home styles, it's gonna be more inland. And then there's also newer builds in Oceanside too. So if you want to know any more information on those, reach out to me. And if you want to check out some sea lions, this is definitely the place to do it. Now, speaking from experience, Carlsbad is my favorite North County city. It's also where I live now, so I have a front row seat to what the day-to-day life in North County feels like. Carlsbad is large. It makes up about 22 different neighborhoods. But the best way to look at Carlsbad is to breaking it up in basically 3 main areas. You have South Carlsbad, which is going to be La Costa, Aviara. You have North Carlsbad, which is also considered Old Carlsbad, and then Coastal Carlsbad. So it's gonna be kind of easier to just break it up in those 3 sections. And then within those sections, there's a ton of different neighborhoods and master plan communities, especially in Southern Carlsbad. So La Costa, Aviara, and right where I'm at is Bressi Ranch, and right behind me is the Bressi Ranch Town Center. So this is a master plan community that was built up in 2003. It's a collection of single family homes, condos, townhomes, and this is one of the cooler neighborhoods in Carlsbad because they made it with walkability in mind. So you have a ton of shopping nearby. There's a lot of parks, which is where I'm at. There's schools nearby. So it's a really charming kind of walkable community, tree-lined streets. And it is in more southern part of Carlsbad. So for people that kind of want easy access to the coast, you're about 15 minutes or so to the coast, but everything that you're going to need is right here. It's a very charming part of Carlsbad. This is where you're gonna find your massive homes. So 3,000, 4,000 square foot homes. These are all going to be master plan communities. So it's going to have that tract home style subdivision. They're all gonna be in HOAs. and a lot of them still have mellow roofs. So there will be an additional tax that you're going to have to pay. Now, if you want to avoid that, you look in Old Carlsbad. So Old Carlsbad is exactly what it sounds like. This is going to be an older neighborhood, more established neighborhood. So some of the homes are built in the 70s and 80s. So with that, a lot of them, you do not have HOA dues. You definitely don't have mellow roofs, and you get an opportunity to buy a home with a little bit more character than you would with a newer build. So Old Carlsbad is one of my favorite neighborhoods just because I like neighborhoods that are more well established. You have bigger trees, more mature landscaping. Homes over the years, they've been painted different colors, so you don't look exactly identical to your neighbor's house or maybe 3 homes down. So you do have a little bit more character. And in Old Carlsbad, you're near the shops at Carlsbad, which is a massive shopping center, and you have the mall right there. So there's tons of shopping nearby. And you're right off Highway 78 and a straight shot to the coast. So Carlsbad Village Drive is going to take you through the coast and into Old Carlsbad. So it's a really great area if you want to buy something with a little bit more character and be closer to the coast. And also the price points are a lot better in this area as opposed to the southern part of Carlsbad. So then you have the coastal part of Carlsbad. So this is going to be Carlsbad Village. This is where you're going to find a lot of your coastal kind of cottages. So again, character is always going to be found on the west side of the freeway because these are going to be older homes and they're by the beach. So most of the homes are going to have that coastal feel to it. Now, Carlsbad is going to draw a lot of people here because of the schools. There's really great schools in Carlsbad. You have Carlsbad School District, part of Carlsbad is in the San Marcos School District, and then you have the San Dieguito School District, which is ranked #1 in the county. Carlsbad also has a very big golfing community. So Aviara Golf Club, for example, that was built up by the one and only Arnold Palmer. And in the Aviara community, you have some massive estates, just some gorgeous homes in that area. And if you didn't know it, Carlsbad actually has an airport too. It's not a commercial airport, it's a private one, but an airport nonetheless. And one area in Carlsbad that I really like is Bristol Cove. So I feel like not too many people know about Bristol Cove, and for those that have a boat or just love that kind of boating community, you get your own boat dock here. And it's the only area in North County where you can actually have your boat docked where you live. I think some locals, especially those that live in San Diego, they look at Carlsbad as a boring suburb. I do not think Carlsbad is a boring suburb, quite the opposite. But it is going to draw a lot of people that are looking for good schools, that are looking for more space, and that are looking for just a nice and safe neighborhood. Now, if you're looking for an up-and-coming neighborhood with a lot of new development happening, we got San Marcos. So I like to break up San Marcos into 2 areas. You have the areas north of Highway 78 and south of Highway 78. South of Highway 78 is where we're gonna find most of the new growth and new development happening. Newer homes, newer shopping centers, including North City. So North City is going to be near Cal State San Marcos, which is in walking distance, which for students to be at Cal State San Marcos 10 years ago, there's absolutely nothing to do. So this is such a good thing that they finally brought some life to the area. So this is going to be a collection of 2,400 new residential units. This includes luxury apartments and also townhomes to purchase. You have 1 million square feet of new office space and 345,000 square feet of new retail space. So a lot of new restaurants and coffee shops have come to this area as well. This is going to be considered San Marcos's, I guess, downtown area. It's not very large, but it does have a nice feel to it, and there's some pretty good spots to check out too. Another area of San Marcos that attracts a lot of people that are looking for a newer type home is Santa Leo Hills. So Santa Leo Hills was built up in the early 2000s. It has its little town square, parks, schools, and the homes are absolutely gorgeous. It does come with a higher price tag, with homes here averaging $2 million. But if you want a 4,000 square foot home with 5 bedrooms, Santa Leo Hills is a great place to check out. Now, north of San Marcos is a little bit older, but this is also a great area for those looking for their first home, maybe a starter home, your first home purchase. You can find a single family home here for about $1 million or under $1 million, which is a huge plus for people looking to buy their first home. And San Marcos is going to be very convenient because it's right off Highway 78. Some might classify San Marcos as a bedroom community. I really don't. So there's going to be a lot to do here, and there's so many businesses off of Highway 78 as well. I would say that a lot of people that live in San Marcos work nearby. And speaking of things to do, you have Links at Lake House, which is a golf course housing community. You find more older homes here, your big single-story ranch-style homes, or more often than not, your neighbors are gonna have golf carts to go cruise around the area, because there also is nearby shopping. There's the lake at San Marcos, so there's gonna be a restaurant on the lake. It's a really great Italian restaurant. You also have Double Peak Park, which is a great little viewpoint area you can either walk up or just drive up to. One thing I always say is to follow the developers, and the developers are in San Marcos. So if your mindset is more on investing, I'd probably check out that area. Now, when you're looking to buy a home and you want convenience, I do suggest looking at areas that are close to Highway 78. It's going to be the most convenient to getting all around North County, and it's a straight shot to the coast. It's also where a lot of shopping centers are. So if you're someone who likes to live near conveniences, you're gonna find it if you live close to Highway 78. But if you want more peace and you don't mind a bit of a drive to get places, then Fallbrook and Vista can be great options, especially because in Fallbrook, you can still find single-family homes for $700,000. It attracts a lot of people that are looking for that peace and quiet, the ones that want more land, more space. So after living in all these different parts of the county, here's how I'd sum it up. The city of San Diego, downtown, the beach neighborhoods, the areas surrounding Balboa Park gives you energy, nightlife, tons of great restaurants, you have sports, and you have that big city feel. You're trading space, parking, and sometimes cleanliness for walkability and excitement. North County gives you more space, newer homes, and in a lot of cases, top schools, cleaner streets, less visible homelessness, and a slower pace. You will trade nightlife and convenience to downtown and the airport for that extra breathing room, maybe a larger home, maybe a bigger lot, maybe just more of a neighborhood feel. It's all about the lifestyle here. At the end of the day, where we decide to live in San Diego, it really comes down to what chapter of life you're in. I loved my time in Little Italy. I met amazing friends. I had that city lifestyle. I barely drove my car unless I was out showing property. But I also loved my quiet chapter in Poway. I love the chaos and the fun of living on the boat in Mission Bay. And now I love the balance of being Carlsbad. And it helps that a lot of my business is up here too. That's not to say I don't work San Diego, because I do it all. If you're already here and you're starting to feel like your current neighborhood doesn't fit you anymore, maybe you're over the downtown parking situation, or you want to trade nightlife for a yard in a good school district. That's when people start looking towards North County. If you're trying to figure out whether you're more San Diego City or North County, maybe you're just a little bit of both. That's literally what I help people with every day. So if you're thinking about your next home purchase, please reach out. We can talk through neighborhoods, run numbers, and figure out what part of the county fits who you are right now. Hey, thanks for hanging with me. I hope you enjoyed getting to learn a little bit more about my story and my experiences living all over the county. I really do know this county inside and out, and I pride myself on understanding what areas are going to be the best fit when you're looking for a change. I love hearing from you, so please drop a comment and let's stay connected. Until next time, friends, stay classy. San Diego.